Hello, I have oh, I think you can all see me now. Sorry, I was having massive, as usual, technical issues. Thank you for telling me you couldn't see me. Can you see me now? Massive, as usual, technical issues. Oh, wonderful. Thank you for telling me you couldn't see me. Can you see me now? Wonderful. Yay, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so I am going to mute myself up here because I can hear myself coming back. Hi Jess, hi Lisa, hi Alexandra, hi Jen. I'm so glad that I can see you all there. Use the chat box if you have any questions for me. Please start by introducing yourself on the chat box. It would be really good to hear what it is that you are into manifesting or what you're working on manifesting right now. And I just want to say that you are in the right place if you have a desire that you can't get out of your head and you know a bit about manifesting, but you want to know how I do it and what my steps are, or if you know nothing about manifesting and you're just curious. So I'm going to teach you everything I know about manifesting, and I'll also touch on what my value filter system is, how to use it to always be in the right vibration for the delivery of your desires, what to ask for and how to ask for it, and exactly when the best time to do and take action is and when to be instead. So how to find the balance between action and surrender. So I love to keep my webinars fast-paced and short. So we'll go for about half an hour to 40 minutes. And then I'll take some questions too. And I've had a couple sent through to me. I'm going to announce something fun at the end if you're still with me. So thank you so much. Hey Bev, lovely to see you as well. So I'm just gonna get going because there's some people who can't make it. I know that you're watching it on your lunch break. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ebony Allard. I'm the Entrepreneur Enabler. I help misfit entrepreneurs to create businesses and lives that are as unique and extraordinary as they are, that really feel as good on the inside as they look on the outside. And I do that in all sorts of different ways. But today I'm really not interested in talking about me or what I do or how I do it, other than talking about manifesting. It's something that I feel like everyone can do. So I'm just going to get straight into it and tell you my secrets, or they're not secrets, but you know what I mean. So as a human being, you are always going to have desires. Manifesting is just the word given to bringing those desires to life. And I'm just going to check something quickly. Oh, hey, Gail. So I'm just going to say that the chat boxes, I've got to have it in a different screen. So I'll flip back and forward quickly, but I'm just going to keep going, and hopefully it will all work out. Okay. So the art of manifesting, and it is an art, requires you to be in alignment with source or the universe or your highest potential or whatever you want to call it, and be in a state of surrender whilst doing something to move yourself forward. Okay, so there's a balance required between passively asking or waiting and pushing without leaving space for magic and miracles. So you've got to be a vibrational match to that which you desire, and you must take inspired action. So just to be really clear, manifesting is not a passive process. Although often it is about doing less, it's also about being open to miracles. And when everything that we do and everything that we think is in alignment, then we experience miracles. So absolutely everybody has the ability to manifest. Start small and then work your way up to bigger, bolder, better, brighter, scarier, more awesome things. I started with parking spaces, and I get a parking space wherever I go. So it doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something really small. Okay. I'm just refreshing to see whether you guys are asking me any questions yet, or whether you're all still with me. And I have no idea, so I shall carry on. Okay, so manifesting starts with a vision, and it's not as simple as making a wish and then lying back on the sofa and watching Netflix whilst waiting for your dream life to knock on the door. it's as simple as this, really. You get what you are, not what you want. So a lot of the manifesting process is really about cultivating an attitude of gratitude. It's about what's going to get you into the emotional or feeling space of receiving. And it's about being ready to notice opportunities and being willing to take action when they present themselves. So the first step really is believing it's possible, even if it's a stretch. You need to believe that what you want and what you desire or want for yourself or for the world is indeed possible. So you need to believe it so much that you can see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, smell it. And there are many different ways of doing that or getting into the belief of it. So it's often best to pick something that is a stretch, but isn't so far away from you that you just don't believe that it's possible for you. Yes, we have got that parking space together, Jen. Yeah, it's just something I've been able to do for about 10 years now, and I have grown it up to bigger things. Okay, so the second step is to identify the limiting beliefs that means that it's not possible and reframe them. Because as soon as you desire something, so the first step, I'm asking you to believe that it's possible, even if it's a stretch. And then because we're human, the next thing that happens is that there are 100 beliefs that come in and all sorts of reasons why we can't have the thing that we want. Okay, so there are two sorts of beliefs. There's a belief that empowers us and a belief that limits us. And so in order to create space for your desires, you've got to first create internal space and get into the right mindset. So the first bit is to really get clear, not stay in that positive woo-woo place, but like really get clear on what it is that's stopping you from believing that you can have it. Because if you believed it, it would appear. Like really, really believed it. I know I'm going to get a parking space, so I get a parking space, but I don't know that £1,000 is going to arrive in the post tomorrow for me. I hope that makes sense. So then we look at what those beliefs are, and sometimes it's like I'm not clever enough, or I'm not experienced enough, or things like that don't happen for me, or whatever it is that there is your belief that's limiting or disabling you from absolutely believing it and embodying it. Then it's time to kind of reframe that and to look at how else can you reframe that belief so that it is believable, or so that something becomes believable. I'm trying to think of an example of that. So it might be adjusting what it is that you want. So maybe I don't believe that £1,000 is going to arrive in the post for me tomorrow, because no one just sends £1,000 out of nowhere. But I might believe that I could receive a surprise £10. And so I would kind of really practice on that, maybe making the goal or the desire or something more believable to me, or look at exactly what it is that comes up and why I'm not the kind of person that can't happen to, and then what do I need to do in order to become the kind of person that happens to. So the third step is continuing on from there. It's creating space, decluttering. And sometimes this is a physical decluttering. Sometimes it's actually about getting rid of stuff and creating space in your house or in your life. But also, most of the time, it's an internal space that we're creating. So essentially what it is, it's your job to go through all the aspects of your life and check whether there is a place for them in this life that you're creating. So it's kind of like Marie Kondoing everything in your life, and that includes thoughts and it includes things. So ask yourself, if I were the kind of person who had the thing, would I have these possessions? If I was the kind of person who had the thing, would I have these kind of thoughts? Would I have these kinds of people in my life? And then you would use your value filter to check in whether the situations that you're in or the things that you have in your life are in alignment with your values. Now, on my YouTube channel, there is a video explaining how to get your value filter, and there's also a blog a blog post on my website, which goes through it and gives you a free download with a worksheet, and the video explains it, and then it shows you how to make decisions using your value filter. So all of that's available to you. Okay, so when you've got your value filter, it can be like, would doing this action, or would creating drama in this situation with this friend, or would saying yes to or no to this put me inside or outside of my value filter? And that's how you can really use your value filter to declutter and create space in your life. And the idea really is to keep only the things and the thoughts and the people who are in alignment with what it is that you're desiring. So one of the best questions really to ask yourself is, am I willing to shed or let go of these things in order to have this other thing? Or what is it, is like, what is no longer serving me, or what is no longer conducive to this thing that I want, so that you can create space for it. Okay, and so step 4 is examining your actions and your behavior. What has to happen for it to be a reality? This step is about taking inspired action. Okay, so what can you do, or what is the action that will lead you to the thing? And it's not about being busy just for the sake of being busy so that you feel as though you're doing something. And it's also not about sitting back and just waiting for the thing to happen. It's about being on the lookout and recognizing opportunity when it arises. There's a fable which I love about this, and so I'm going to share that with you very quickly. It's the floods are coming and everyone is leaving, and there's a guy who's not moving and not going anywhere. He's standing, you know, in his garden strong, and a car drives up to him and offers him a lift, and he says, no, no, God will save me. And the rains are coming and it's flooding more and more, and he has to climb up a tree, and you know, the rains are coming higher and higher, and as the water continues to rise, a boat sails up to him and offers him a way out, and he says, no, no, God will save me. And then the waters continue to rise, and he's now on top of his house hanging on for dear life, and a helicopter sends down a ladder, and he says, no, no, you know, God will save me. And so eventually the dude dies and comes face to face with God and is furious, and he says to God, you didn't save me. And God says, well, I sent you a car, I sent a boat, I sent a helicopter, what else did you want? So my reason for sharing that is to keep your eyes open and be on the lookout. It might not present itself to you in the form that you're expecting. So if you're asking for money and you're going, well, I can only get money from work, perhaps there are other ways, other forms that this money can appear in your life that you're not expecting. So check in with yourself, like, what is it that actually has to happen? And then is that sorry, I'm just reading Jen's comment. Can you share how your recent manifestation fits in once you've been through all these steps, please? Yes, of course. Yeah, just check in with yourself if that's a fact or an assumption. Okay, so the 5th step is determining how committed you are to it. Are you trying, or have you decided? I share quite often with my clients, you don't try and eat a watermelon. If you try, you end up with juice everywhere and pips all down your front while complaining that you got all sticky. When you decide, it's different. You get stuck in, you get your bib on, and you get it done whilst enjoying all of the juicy bits. So have you decided that this is happening, or are you trying to get it? So when I, like recently, when I this recent manifestation, what happened is I've been very good for quite a long time at being able to manifest or have materialize up to about between 750 and £1,000 within 2 days. And it's, if I need it and I've decided it's happening, it happens always. And whether that's clients buying things, me doing an offer, someone offering to pay for something, very often, you know, all sorts of different things that have happened. And actually Jen and I had a conversation about that, and I had said, well, you know, I can't do any more than that. So I went through these steps, and when I got to here, I was like, how committed am I to this? How committed am I to wanting to make that £3,000? Because that's the figure that we'd said, and that's what I wanted. So I went through these steps one by one, and when I got to this place, I really noticed the sensation in my tummy. When you've made a decision, when I've made a decision, the sensation in my tummy is one of commitment and surety. When you haven't made the decision yet, it feels different. So ask yourself, what do you need to do for this to be a decision? And is it relying on other people? Is there something or some kind of approval that you're looking for? And when you are clear that you want this thing, that you're the kind of person that this thing happens to and happens for, and you're looking out for opportunity and you're willing to take action, and then the sixth step is consistency. It's showing your commitment to that every single day. If it's a priority, you put some energy and some attention and some focus into it every single day. So the question really is, are you showing yourself and the world that it's a priority, and what consistent action or commitment are you willing to take? And some days that might be meditating on it and really feeling into what it feels like to feel as though, which is the 7th step. Other days it could be picking up the phone and making sales calls. Other days it can be getting your sales funnel done. Other days it could be going to yoga, but keeping your eyes open for people and connections that situations. Okay. It's very, very subtle, the switch from trying to deciding. And really it does lead on to the 7th step, which is feel as though. So when some people explain manifesting, they talk about acting as if. And actually, I think it's really hard to act as if, especially if the thing is a stretch, because acting as if isn't the same as feeling as though. So for me, the 7th step is feeling as though. Your one job really is to do what you need to do in order to stay in your value filter, to do what feels good, to do what makes you be in your place of your highest potential, where you are in your zone of genius, where you're switched on, where you are happy and a magnet for good things. So feeling as though might mean that you need to do some work to grow your capacity. And by growing your capacity, what I mean is becoming or doing anything that you need to do so that the thing is possible for you. And that might mean getting some coaching. It might mean doing a course. It might mean learning a skill. It might mean up-leveling yourself and your life from the inside out. It might mean making sure that your cup is full to overflow and not scraping the bottom for the tiny bit in there. So looking after yourself, putting yourself first, making yourself a highest priority, going to the gym, eating right. You need to be the kind of person for whom the thing is expected. I hope that makes sense. So then the 8th step is the most difficult. It is surrender. Let it go and hold it in an open palm. I'm going to take a drink quickly. This part of the manifesting process is the toughest to try and explain, and it's also the toughest for us to get. To surrender is defined as to give up control of something or to give up something to another. So let me say that again. To surrender is defined as to give up control of something or to give up something to another. And in this instance, the real and true relinquishing of control, and by so doing, accepting and trusting in a force greater than yourself, is where the magic happens. And this is the bit that's just not easy. You need to be able to hold on to a vision of what it is that you desire while simultaneously, being completely unattached to the outcome. I describe it as holding your goals, your wants, your idea in open palms, like you would a loved one. You let them know that you want them, but that they are free to be themselves and to take any shape that they need. Being unattached to how your desire manifests is tough for so many of us. It takes practice and patience and love. And it's your job to focus on the what, to keep your eyes open for opportunities, to take action when it feels good to take action, and to hold back, feeling into being when it feels good to do that instead. So focus on the feelings and focus on your trust that the force is greater than you, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, has your back and is conspiring to make the very best version of your desires unfold in the very best way for you. And so quite a lot of this work is about becoming confident that you are the kind of person that deserves these things. So exactly that, Gail. So committed but not attached to the outcome. Yeah, exactly that. And it's kind of you know it when you feel it. And the best way I can describe it is that feeling of love, the kind of love that I have for my family. It's completely unconditional. I want them to be happy. That's my desire. But how they are happy or how that unfolds is not my job at all. And that's the same for these desires, for the things that I want. I have to be completely committed and leave it at that. So those are my 8 steps. I am really happy to talk a bit more about the specifics of what I did for this last manifestation, if that's useful to you. I've got 3 questions that have been sent in by other people. So I'm going to answer them quickly, but if you've got any questions for me, please send them through. That would be fab. So I'm going to just look at the questions that I've had come through. So I had Susie asked, how do you clean up your energy around, how do you clean up your energy around so that you can successfully manifest? I need to pretty urgently manifest a sum of money, but you're also anxious and exhausted, so you feel that that could interfere with the process. Cool. So the very fact that you have urgency makes manifesting difficult, because we're not in charge of the timeline of that, really. And at the same time, you can have a deadline that you need to manifest something by, but if the feeling of anxiety is there, then you're not going to be a match for that desire. So it's much more about letting go, like setting that intention and letting go of that and doing the work that you need to do to let go of any anxiety and exhaustion. So it might be deciding and trusting and believing that that thing is completely going to happen within that amount of time. And it might be that you need to have some other backup plan, or it might be that you need to go and ask for help or support, but your job in that situation is really to work on relieving the anxiety. And yeah, I do think that you need to feel like you deserve it, and you do deserve it, but you need to feel that. You need to believe that this is that you are entitled to the thing without feeling entitled, because as soon as there's an expectation with a sense of holding on to it, like that's yours, then it disappears. It's like, the best way I can describe it is like yoga. So when you're in a really good yoga pose, you are completely outstretched and you are leaning into it. You know, you're using your muscles and expanding your body in every way. And at the same time, once you've reached out in every direction, you also sink in and let go. So you really sink into that posture and let go. And somewhere in the middle of that outward push and the inward pull, there is a feeling of suspension. And that's what happens when you manifest. That's what happens when you surrender. You make the decision about what it is that you want. You put that effort in, you push out in every way, eyes open, ready for action, do what it takes, you know, make those phone calls, go to the gym, do whatever it is that you need to do whilst letting go. Thanks, Jen. I'm glad that you're chatting. It means that I can know that people can still see and hear me. So the second question that Susie asked was, what simple steps would you take to manifest something you need in a relatively short period of time? And also, how would you do things for longer term goals? Okay, so I would use exactly the same processes for short term and long term desires. And for me, it's really about the commitment. So, and about my state of mind. So something can appear really quickly. You know, it can appear within 24 hours. You can make money or get someone to, you know, it has to be something that you have control over. So it can't be somebody else doing something. It needs to be something that you've got control over. I would say that it's potentially difficult to go from nothing to something huge if there's a gap between how you feel about whether or not that thing is for you. So you get what you are, not what you want. So if you are in a place of, well, of course that would be the thing that kind of appears for me, then it will. I've got one other question from Sophie. So if you've got any questions, please send them through. Sophie's question was, is there a way to cope with the doubt that might creep in when you're manifesting something? And I think that there's doubt about life generally all of the time, and for me that's where the consistency practice comes in. I use a 5-minute journal, and in that it helps me to develop my gratitude in a really real way. So it asks me for 3 things a day that I have gratitude for, and it then asks me for an affirmation. And so every morning I focus in on what it is that I'm desiring or trying to manifest at that time. And sometimes it's really specific things and sometimes it's not, but there's an element of curiosity about the way that I manifest. There's no expectation that or entitlement with that edge, with that fear of that thing of like, it must appear for me. It's still about doing the work. Like if I have done the work, if I've shown up, if I've showed devotion, by committing, by doing some kind of ritual or process for myself every single day. And these things can be completely unique to you. You don't need to be spent hours in prayer or hours in meditation or any of the things. You don't have to have a green juice diet and go to yoga 7 times a day. I don't believe that any of those things are necessary unless they are the things that are necessary for you in order for you to feel as though you are the kind of person that would attract or have the things that you want. So I hope that's clear. Now I'm going to refresh again. I haven't got any questions from you guys. Has anyone got any questions? I'm just going to check. Anyone? Oh, okay. So Jen said, with my particular goal at the moment, I'm trying to stay out of the how. I've been invited to New York to speak at an event in October, and I'd like to manifest the sum of money to cover the flights, expenses, and also the time I'm there. Ideally, I'd like to book a 3-day intensive with a client while I'm there, but I'm wondering if I'm getting too caught up in it becoming that specific way. Okay. And the answer to that is I've got no idea either. But if you've decided you're going, then you're going. Absolutely, then you're going. And I guess for me, that would be about showing up in conversations and being really clear about what it is that you want. And being in Facebook groups or chatting to your clients or talking about it more and being really clear on that's what it is that you want. And that it will happen. And I know for you that will absolutely happen. The choice becomes, at what point do you book it and expect that money back? Or are you saying that you need that money to come in before you book it and make the commitment? And only you can know for yourself what feels right, like what would put you in your value filter. Knowing that it is going to happen. Yeah, you have decided you're going. Great. Sorry, I think there must be a delay. But yeah, what would put you in your value filter? Knowing the flights were booked, or waiting until that money comes in. And that's a really personal question for you, and looking at your own set of values and your own idea about what would make you feel the most comfortable and the most you and the most at ease. So Bev asks, is it possible to know when your actions aren't working and won't work out if you need to be consistent for longer? I guess that to me really sounds like I haven't decided. It's trying rather than having made a commitment, having made the decision. Because someone described being an entrepreneur as being patiently impatient once, and I think that's the best description of successful entrepreneurialism that I've ever heard. You have to become the most patient person in the world whilst also being the most impatient person in the world. You have to have made the decision that it's absolutely happening, and Yeah, just Lisa, there is absolutely going to be a replay. I'll post it out to everyone. I think it will probably be on my Google channel and as well. So yes, and good luck manifesting broadband. And yes, so it absolutely will be a replay. But Bev, I think that's the best answer I can give you, really. And Jen, I think you should book it. Yeah, I completely think you're going to book it. And what I'll do is I'm going to see whether I can find, when I send the replay out, when I send you guys all an email, I'll put the blog post that is got the link to the value filter and the worksheet and everything in there. And Bev, we can do some work on limiting beliefs, and it really is, it's, you know, limiting beliefs is such a coachy word that gets thrown around all over the place, right? It's as simple as two sorts of belief, like one that empowers you and one that limits you. And it's just checking in, and you don't have to beat yourself up for having limiting beliefs. We all have beliefs that aren't empowering to us right now. And so it's just catching ourselves. I watched a fantastic chat with Tony Robbins and Marie Forleo the other day, and the way that he was talking about mindset and like getting back into that positive place was just hugely, hugely inspiring. You know, I've got a long, long way to go, and I'm a student of this work and being in my value filter all the time. I really, really am. So, and Lisa, we've got a chat, and we can have a chat about manifesting the money to work with me. So we've got a chat, we've all signed up for that, so that's cool. I'm happy to do that. Listen, you guys, it's been half an hour. If there are any more questions, please pop them in. I will send out a replay. I'll pop in the links to the value filter stuff. I really hope that this has been useful, just to have those steps broken down. And there's one last thing that I want to tell you about. So some of you know that it is my birthday tomorrow, and some of you know that I had an idea for a new project called Out of the Box, and it's going to go live to the public in August. And tomorrow, just for those people who have been patiently waiting on the Tell Me More list, I'm going to open the cart for 24 hours, and there are only 8 of each box available, and the boxes are Dharma, Metta, Manifest, and Release, and they cover everything that you need to live an out of the box life. And the Manifest box has got all of these steps and everything that you need to build a daily practice around that, to increase your vision, to let go of your limiting beliefs, and to invite in the life that you desire. And Jen, I love that's been a good thing for you, because deciding is such a big deal. Like, if you try and cross a road, you're going to have an accident. You've got to decide that you're doing it, and it feels different in your tummy. Hey Jess, I'm so glad that you're excited for Out of the Box. If you're signed up to the list, if you go to outoftheboxbox.com, if you're on that list, you will get an email sometime this afternoon, sometime in the next couple of hours, telling you that you are on the list and that there will be an announcement about this tomorrow. And then for 24 hours, so from 10 a.m. tomorrow morning till 10 a.m. on Sunday, we're going to open the cart and see how many of the boxes go. And yeah, as I say, there are just 8 of each of them. And the Manifest box, so Dharma is all about your value filter, so you'll get really, really clear of what that is and how to use it in daily life. Manifest has got everything you need for manifesting, and that's kind of the last box. So before that, you've got Metta, which is about developing loving kindness and loving yourself and believing in yourself that you are the kind of person that these things will happen to. And Release is about letting go of everything that's no longer serving you, and finding a way through letting go of the emotions, letting go of the stuff, letting go of the friends, letting go of the expectations. Thank you very much for my happy birthday for tomorrow. And I'm going to have a lovely, lovely weekend. All of this will be in the emails that will go out to you tomorrow if you're signed up. So hop along to outoftheboxbox.com and sign up, and it will come through. Yeah, and I'm really excited about Out of the Box, because you get physical product, everything you need to create your very own retreat. So candles and crystals and sage, and then workbooks from me, and video trainings and audios and meditations and all the things that I use with my VIP clients. And so this is just a limited edition little birthday treat to myself and to you guys. Thank you so much for coming and showing up on your lunch break, or whatever time it is for you, wherever you are. I will send out the replay so that Lisa, you can watch it from the very beginning without buffering. I hope that it was interesting and useful to you. It will also be on my YouTube channel, so if you ever want to see little trainings from me, that's where they show up. And the pep talk is the best way of making sure that you're not missing out on anything. Have a fantastic weekend, and yeah, happy manifesting. Thanks, Bev, and happy birthday to you too. All right, bye.